We're just turning on the live streaming. Thanks, everyone. Welcome, everyone, to the ordinary council meeting for the 18th of February, so 19th, giving a day away, 2026. We have a speaker tonight, Lindsay Nixon, and who's speaking to 10.1.6. Lindsay, would you like to come up and speak?
Okay, good evening. My name's Lindsay Nixon. I reside in Gendra. Have so for the last 22 years. So good evening, councillors and I wouldn't say general public, but looks like I'm in. And I thank you for the opportunity to speak in support of item 10.1.6, which is restoration of the general war memorial. Just a bit of history. Like many memorials across Australia, Gendra was erected shortly after the First World War as a place to honour fallen, and those names, residents are etched into its stone and have been since end World War One. After the Second World War, more names were sadly added. Sailors, soldiers, and airmen from our community, who sadly never returned home. And each name represents a local story, a local family, and sacrifice that shaped Gendra and certainly Australia. Some time now, it's been very clear that the memorial is in quite bad repair. The structure itself has continued to deteriorate, being an older susceptible granite. And we've had recent assessments by professionals who have confirmed the original materials are no longer capable of withstanding ongoing weather and certainly deteriorated greatly, especially over the last 2 years. So we've had a qualified stonemason confirm that. And he's recommended that the most respectful and sustainable solution is to actually duplicate the monument as it is now. So as such, it will look exactly the same, but the new materials and certainly a brand new look. It'd be great. So this will ensure the Gendra War Memorial stands proudly for generations and generations to come from this point on. So under this plan, we felt very deeply about the existing monument and what it actually meant to the families and the people of Gendra and the surrounds. So under our plan, the existing monument, when it's removed for replacement, will actually be relocated to the Gendra Pioneer Museum. And there it can be maintained, stored, and potentially some restoration work going on display. This approach, we thought, basically will suit and sit well with the community, as it just retains that memory, that long memory. We did have a few comments. We put out a public comment. We had a few comments say that, look, what about the old one? That has meaning. We want to maintain that meaning and not just chuck it in the bin. A second stage of the project is also proposed, undertaken. This will be through volunteer labour efforts, community donations, and all going well, hopefully some future grants that may be available for restorations as well. And that would be to beautify the surroundings, get some nice lawn growing, replace the fence, maybe get some lighting to enhance the memorial itself, because really at night nobody knows it's there. You can see it during the day if you look quickly to the left as you're going past the pub, but other than that, it's really not a notable site. This will also include some additional future plaques to get up to speed with latest and previous conflicts we've had that are represented actually in the memorial themselves.
Thanks, Lindsay. Sorry.
Why does this matter? Me speaking as a Gulf War veteran and a returned service myself, and to me it matters deeply. This memorial gives me and many others a chance each to pause, reflect, and honour those who have served before us, and certainly as well as those who continue to serve today in all three services. It's a place where gratitude becomes tangible for all of us, basically. Across our region, we have many significant memorials, and across the country, Albury and Wodonga probably being the most two notable in our region. Both have been beautifully restored in recent years, certainly Albury, and they stand proudly as places of reflection. Yet, regardless of those two beautiful memorials, Albury and Wodonga, I choose to attend every year the dawn service and the mid-morning service in Chidra. Because I live here. It's my town. As do many others. Over the last probably 10 years, we've seen services grow. Certainly the dawn service and the mid-morning service. We're currently around 250 at the dawn, 250 at the mid-morning. So we're looking at roughly 500 people every Anzac Day, which is fantastic. And that includes children, through the elderly, families, veterans like myself. And that turnout basically speaks to the heart of this community and its commitment to remembrance. And I think it's really important that we have this memorial upgraded to continue that remembrance for decades and to come. So basically, this is why we ask your support as a council and approve this project. The restoration of the General War Memorial is not just about repairing stone. It's about honouring our history, allows us to honour the original craftsmanship while ensuring that we respect our fallen, and ensuring future generations have a place to go to remember and learn. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Lindsay.
And I think we'll result.
Any questions for Lindsay?
Lindsay, I want to commend you on the spirit of what you and your cohort are going to do. In particular, the fact that there's an intention to recognise post-conflicts after World War II. I probably would be of the same age group of you, and several of my friends attended the Gulf War. And I noticed largely across the country that the post-World War II conflicts are honoured. Can I just ask one question? Will you be intending to put names of those who've served from Gindra on those?
Look, I mean, the memorial, as far as the names, it's described on the memorial those people to. And obviously, if you look at World War I, World War II, two major conflicts, there was many that didn't. However, very poor repair and so on. Their names are not on those memorials because they were not followed. There is certainly other aspects, such as the Memorial of Canberra, who dedicate the names of who served, etc. The records you can look up, but look, it'll be at this stage a plaque to recognise that conflict. That's people served. It's very similar to what they've done up in Albury. They've actually updated and they've got the Vietnam, they've got the Gulf War, they've got the Afghanistan operations and so on. So,
well, congratulations.
It's purely a plaque to recognise that operation and those who served in it.
Thank you.
Whether it be, and certainly there is some battalions that their names are there. Yeah.
Any other questions? Mara?
Sounds like you have RSL approval, Lindsay.
Yes.
Check. Thank you, James. Yes, we do. I'll give the RSL approve of any and support any restoration of memorials, especially if they're done respectfully. And our plan was always and will always be to renovate and replace the memorial exactly the way it is now. We didn't want to go in and say, okay, look, let's go for a different stone colour, let's go for a totally different design, because that's not the genuine war memorial. The genuine war memorial is what you see today, apart from the fact that it's in poor repair and it needs to be replaced. So, yeah.
Any other questions? No? Thanks, Lindsay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I declare the meeting of Greater Hume Council on Tuesday the 18th of February 2026 open. In accordance with Council's Code of Meeting Practice, this meeting is being recorded and will be placed on Council's website for public information. All present are reminded that by speaking, you're agreeing to your views and comments and being recorded and published. You're also reminded that when speaking, you must be respectful of others and use appropriate language. Council accepts no liability for any defamatory or offensive remarks or gestures made during this meeting. I ask everyone be respectful of others when you are speaking and refrain from speaking over the top of one another. Before I ask Councillor Linda to lead us in prayer, I'd just like to formally welcome our General Manager, Dina, to Greater Hume. We hope that your first 2 weeks have been enjoyable and productive, no doubt very busy, and we look forward to working closely with you in the months and years ahead, and we look forward to introducing you to the broader community as well. I'd also like to sincerely thank the senior staff for their dedication and commitment over the last 14 months. Your professionalism and steady leadership during this period has been greatly appreciated. And in particular, I acknowledge Colin for all his work that he's done, his leadership and dedication while serving the role as Acting General Manager. Colin, your commitment to council and our community has not gone unnoticed, and we're extremely grateful, so thank you. I'd also like to welcome Zoe as her role as Executive Assistant and her first council meeting, so please be kind and make sure you introduce yourselves to Zoe. Thank you, Councillor Linda.
Heavenly Father, I thank you for your presence here amongst us while we meet tonight. Father, I just ask that you give us wisdom and guidance as we make decisions tonight. Father, that the decisions we make will result in blessing and favour upon the Shire. And Father, I also want to just speak out a blessing and favour upon our new leader, Dina, as she goes about the job. Father, I just ask, just lots and lots of good things come her way, and Father, that this time would be a rewarding time for her in her career. Father, I thank you for that in the name of Jesus. Amen.
I would like to acknowledge that this meeting is being held on the traditional lands of the Wiradjuri people and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. Are there any apologies or applications for leave of absence, please, councillors? No? Thank you. Confirmation of minutes from the December 17th meeting. I have a mover. Thank you, Councillor O'Neill. Councillor Shield, is there any comments?
Yes, Madam Mayor,
Yes,
there's a small correction I'd like to make.
certainly.
That I've got to move an amendment, I'm not sure. But in the minutes, I'm quoted as moving an amendment. It actually was a motion, and you used your casting vote and it was lost. And the rest of the recording in the minutes is correct. For that part, I moved the motion. All recorded, it's on video. It's been double checked.
I can see the one you're talking about, Councillor Cooking. That's the West Gindera Residential Precinct. Is that the one that you're talking about?
Yes.
Yep.
Should I move an amendment to the confirmation of the minutes, or?
I would presume so.
I would have thought that, well, I'll move that way, but I would have thought normally, meeting proceedings, it's just a correction to the minutes. But anyway, I'll move the amendment, Madam Mayor.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councillor Hicks. So all those in favour? All in favour? Declare to carry. Any other amendments to the minutes? No? If not, put it. All those in favour? All in favour? Declare to carry. Action report from the minutes. Please state the page number and the item number, please, if you're asking any questions or queries. Councillor Morton, page number.
Thank you. Page number 4, item 6858. In the comment, that's July. I'm sure that it was not July.
6858, request for urgent drought declaration from the government support and government support.
It says the action, the comment was July. I'm sure it was later than that.
That was around about July.
Yeah, I think it might have been.
Okay, that is important. Thank you very much.
Any others? Yes. Keep going.
Page
Might as well.
964, the mention of the Glenellan public meeting. Is there any plans on that coming about in the near future?
Had that question too, Councillor Morton. Thank you. To you, Mr. Blackie.
Yeah, through Madam Mayor, once the budget is set, we'll be having a meeting with the Glenellan people then. Probably April, I think, at this stage.
April, hopefully. Next, Councillor Morton.
No, I'm not sure. I've already sent emails. That's good for me. Thank you.
Anyone else? Councillor Shilk? Councillor Quinn? No? O'Neill? No? Nothing? Okay. Thank you. Sorry, I'm working off a paper form and a computer form. That. Meryl Minute, disclosure of interest, sorry. Any disclosures of interest, please? No? Okay. No Meryl Minute, but however, I will be doing a media release later in the week about the recent drought announcement, so stay tuned for that. Just some stuff's changed at the beginning of this week, and yeah, I'll get some details about that. Any notices of motion?
Just on that media release, I hope you're constantly reminding the Premier that
It hasn't rained.
there's no rain south of Wagga.
I'm constantly reminding him, knocking on his door again.
No, Holbrook looks a lot better than Colcan, or west of Colcan.
I think we've had about 6 mils for the year so far.
Apples.
Yeah. Notices of motion? No? Okay, reports. Item 10.1.1, environmental and planning.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, I'd like to move a motion that we just leave this one on the table at the moment because I've got a number of questions and concerns regarding flooding, please.
Radio. Thank you, Louise. It's not opening, sorry. So you'd like to move an amendment rather than...
No, I'd like to move the motion that my motion is that we leave it lay on the table. So I'm ignoring the recommendation.
Sure.
I'm moving the motion that we just leave it lay on the table until our March meeting, as there's a lot of information I'd like to be made aware of in relation to flooding. I've got a number of concerns and questions.
So Councillor Linders wants to move the motion to lay on the table. Are you happy to second it?
It is a massive document, and there's a lot of, I had quite a few comments too. I didn't know Councillor Nealon was going to say that, but we need a little bit more time with that one.
So the amendment is, that we, the motion is that we'll lay it on the table. Thank you. Can we vote on that, please? All those in favour? Councillor Hicks, Councillor Lindner, Councillor Liston, Councillor Quinn and Councillor Shield. Declare that carried. So that will now become the motion. The motion will be that we lay it on the table. That was the amendment. You would, yeah, if you don't mind, that'd be great.
Yeah, look, I've got a number of concerns, especially that there's actually a basin retention dam in there, which is going to be split. Given just a bit of a rough calculation, it looks like that of the smaller block, about 30% of that smaller block is going to be taken up by easements, So therefore, there's not going to be an opportunity to build on there. And I'm just wanting a little bit more clarification regarding how this fits in with the Gidra floodplain risk. Because if you look at some of the shots, you can actually see red in the middle of this development, which indicates a lot of flooding. And so that I haven't come across anything within the DA that even talked about finished floor height. And so some of those things that they really need more clarification. And then especially like if we're taking, which is an average along that section of development, blocks which are about 1.5 acres, and we're going to actually cut that in half and then half again, and then with 30% of the smaller one being, or it's actually more than 30% being under easement, and given setbacks from easements, setbacks from the dam, and then where the dam actually overflows through lot 13 as well, yeah, I'd like to see a hydraulic report, and yeah, just to be given assurance that we're not going to approve something and some poor bloke's going to come along and buy the block and think I can build my dream home, only to get flooded, or to find out that the amount of area within that block that he can't actually even build on.
Mr. Kane, would you like to make any comments?
Well, our normal practices are that internal referrals occur between the Town Planning Department and Council and Engineering Department. Flooding is one of those things that's happened here. And I've asked Council's Town Planner to come along tonight. Are you prepared to talk a little bit on flooding?
Yeah.
Guy?
In terms of, true, Madam Mayor, in terms of flooding, I have received the comments from our engineering department, pretty much what they're saying, subject to putting a condition, imposition of conditions, this development can occur. In terms of finished floor flood height, so we have included a condition requiring the applicant to come back to council and request the minimum finished floor level for the house. In addition to that, the total build-up area. So in our development control plan, we have a criterion which, if the applicant can demonstrate, they can incorporate 10 by 15 building envelope. So we consider that it's a block that can, put a house on that allotment. So in this instance, based on easements and the other constraints, I'm confident that the block can still accommodate 10 by 15 building envelopes. So on those factors, based on all those factors, in my professional opinion, is that those matters be already addressed.
Yeah, well, I can only speak from local knowledge as well, and I've seen 3 foot of water go through that area, and all the houses along Pioneer Drive are subject to flooding. So yeah, there's more information I'd like to see to have peace of mind in relation to flooding, to ensure that so some poor bloke doesn't get led astray and have his house ruined.
So you'd like to lay it on the table and get some more information brought back to the next month's meeting?
I'm willing to send some questions off to whoever you would like me to. So that's more information that I'd like sought, if that's helpful.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Could I ask again a question? Given that lot 12 will now be 3,563 square metres, that deems it to be too small to be a building block anyway, doesn't it?
And not to Madam Mayor. So bid for a building block, if you need to put a house on a block, what we are saying in the development control plan, you have to demonstrate you can incorporate 10 by 15 building envelopes, so which is equivalent to 115 square meters. So if you look at the constraints and whatever the other what's on the basic certificate, etc., I'm confident that they can easily accommodate 10 by 15 building envelope on that block, which is equivalent to 115 square meters.
So in other words, a double drain?
In relation to stormwater, we have incorporated a condition, which I think Greg is the right person to talk to you in this regard.
Yeah, happy to mention the condition. The condition relates to the application that for the houses approved or dwellings approved, that they must be able to show how they're going to discharge their stormwater to Pioneer Drive.
And grey water?
There's no grey water. It's on sewage. Yeah, so it's fully sewer block. So no, this is just in relation to stormwater because of the dam and increase possibly of water. They have to show they're going to discharge it on Pioneer Drive. If I may, Madam Mayor, I'd just like to. The body of the report has a section in relation to the LEP 5.21, which talks about flood planning, and it has got a paragraph that I've just read, and it says the site is partially classified as flood planning area under the Grading Council's Gindera floodplain risk management study. The flood category, and there's different categories in flooding. There's floodways, flood fringe, and flood storage. The flood category over the site is a combination of flood fringe and flood storage, with the majority of the site being flood fringe. The study further categorises the flood hazard over the site as predominantly low hazard, and then dropping in from that. So it is possible to develop flood in flood prone areas, but you have to do it in a way that meets the criteria. And that condition that we put in that the town planner speaks of is condition number 29, which is saying essentially apply for your floor height. I could read the council's condition number 29 if they like. But it's essentially saying you have to apply to council for us to set the mark for you to build to. And in setting that mark, which would be probably a bench site, but there could be another way of doing it. Could be done with, I don't know, Ferris and Joyce or something like that to get up and above that flood level. So it has been considered by our engineering staff, and they have referenced the only available document that we've got available is the Gindera floodplain risk management study at this time. And whether you would do, I'm happy to refer to engineering, but whether you would do a supplementary flood study for a 3-lot subdivision, not in my experience, you wouldn't do that. It's usually for a bigger development that you would do a supplementary flood study, not for 1 lot into 3.
I'll just ask a question of Mr. Kane. What are the implications of laying that one on the table?
Well, the implications are, the proponents put back a month, and that affects them in terms of their progress with their development. The other implications of deferring it for a month is it will affect our stats for a month as well, in that we've got nothing to put against that pause for the month, because we're not asking the applicant for additional information to stop the clock on the stats, so the stats will run for the month. So that's basically the only implication. It affects the proponent, affects us with our stats, and distorts our stats. We're accounting for.
Bit of a sticky situation since it's already been voted and laid on the table. Not sure you're going to get out of that.
Yeah, I did it before we talk about it. Sorry. So there was 5 for and 4 against the motion. So that was one of the motions. So now that will be the motion that we lay on the table. So happy to move it and second it again, Councillor Shield. So all those in favour? Same people in favour: Shield, Quinn, Liston, Linda and Hicks. So declare that carried. Thank you. 10.1.2. DA for a dwelling house. The recommendation is on page 160.
So moved, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Quinn. And the seconder. Thank you, Councillor. So any discussion?
Very well written up.
No discussion. I'll put it. All those in favour? All in favour? Gentlemen? Sorry. Yes, all in favour? Declare to carry. 10.1.3 DA for a lot subdivision. The recommendation is on page 251.
Nothing against the recommendation, Madam Mayor, but I'd like to ask the question: have we changed the cost
Would you like to move it, Mr. Quinn? Councillor Quinn?
No, I'm going to wait.
Can I have a mover and seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor O'Neill. And a seconder?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Councillor Hicks. Now you may ask a question.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The question is to the engineer or the planner. Have we changed our development contributions, or are we still going on the ones that we've had there? And
Oh, we can't change development contributions until we do a full review of them. The only ones we can do if it's a new development area or we need to get a planning agreement with the developer. But this is already because it's part of an ongoing approved subdivision. We can't change it for this one at this time.
it's a funny word for you, Madam Mayor. Funny word, can't. Depends on whether you want to do it or not. This will add further pressure on the Kindra sewerage scheme. I don't oppose the development pressure on the Kindra scheme. And you know who's got to pay for that? The ratepayers in Henty, Colcan and Holbrook. Their rates will go up every year because the sewerage scheme's all tested, all locked together. What's the name? And there must be a way. I've been on it before and I've been knocked down, but I'll keep going on it. There must be a way where we can charge. The developers are coming out of Albury because Albury's doubled their fees, and all I can find out from Albury City is that's all right. We meet as a council and we decide, and that's what it is. And developers don't seem to go crook. But obviously, I'm not going to convince you, Mr. Engineer, but
I'd like to make a comment on that in regards to obviously the development contributions have to be changed and we are looking at changing them. There's not an issue with that. And anywhere there's a new development taking place, that is going to be implemented. Unfortunately, in this case, with the conditions, this is an existing consent we're dealing with. It's a staged subdivision. It's not a new DA. It's a current DA and it's simply a staged subdivision. So the conditions of the original DA still apply. If it was a new consent, yes, it can be looked at differently for sure, and that's how we're going to look in the future.
Madam Mayor, I understand all that lingo, but if I see I'm going broke, I take steps so I won't go broke. And without an increase in the development costs for all these services, we're heading down the road of no return. Anyway, I've said enough.
Thank you, Councillor Quinn.
Comment 3, Madam.
Yes, Councillor.
Totally understand where Councillor Quinn's coming from, but we do have a process we must follow, and I think that we do need to advocate, and we need to really stress that we need to look at these fees in a timely manner, as we said last year. However, we still, with the existing DAs, we still have a process governance we've got to follow, and in this instance we've missed the boat. But moving forward, I'm in total agreement with Councillor Quinn that we need to be doing more to be charging them.
I agree totally, Councillor Quinn as well. That's unusual, Councillor Quinn, isn't it?
So you, Madam Mayor, Councillor Hooper, I'm about to be shot. It's so good to say you feel sorry for me.
So we have a mover and seconder. Any other discussion? No? I'll put it, all those in favour? All those in favour?
I'll have to vote against it.
Oh, you will? You're going to vote against it now, are you? Okay, so Councillor Quinn is voting against it. Sorry.
I thought there might have been a bit of grace, Madam Mayor, but there wasn't.
10.1 sorry. We're going to go to 10.1.4, the Colcan Golf Club, and the recommendation is on page 304.
I'll move that recommendation, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Quinn, and thank you, Councillor Hooper. Oh, sorry. Got it?
Thank you.
So yeah, the recommendation's been moved and seconded. Would you like to speak?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Madam Mayor, I'm just intrigued if we have any idea of the length of tenure that we might have regarding this lease agreement with the native title claim on it.
I'll have
Mr. Kane?
Madam Mayor. I can only comment that I'm told through our last liaison with Crown Lands that the processing of the Aboriginal land claims is taking up to 15 years. So where they are in that 15-year cycle, I don't know, and they can, and it doesn't necessarily mean that the claim would be successful. It might be. So that's the best I can do. It could be could be that they're 5 years into that 15-year assessment period, in which case they'll get the whole 10 years. I don't know other than that. They could be a lot further along and could be a lot shorter if they are given a title for the golf course.
So is there any process that either the golf club or the council could have to potentially try and ensure the longevity of the lease?
Look, I don't have any answers to that. What I do know is that we've been approached again for another liaison meeting with Crown Lands, and I could ask. That was coming in the not too distant future from my memory. I remember seeing an email on it just recently saying that they wanted to come, and you were there, Councillor Linda, last time. So they were keen to do that again. Maybe when I know the date, I'll invite you along.
Because I'd like to see how others are progressing as well. Yeah, that's good.
It's a slow process, isn't it? Is there any other comments, questions? If not, I'll put it. All those in favour? All in favour, let it carry. 10.1.5, Amendment to South Jindera DCP. The recommendation is on page 309. Thank you, Councillor Hooper. Thank you, Councillor O'Neill. Is there any discussion, questions?
Good question, Madam Mayor.
Certainly.
It'll have to be the engineer again. Is this country locked into this? I was going to sweetheart deal of the past, but you know what I'm talking about.
In regard to the section 64 contributions to the project, it's no, it'll be a different
New contribution.
There'll be a new contribution because this is a new development DAs for that land because it's a new DC, well, proposed DCP. So that will be changed because it's a new area.
Through you, Madam Mayor, again. So once Heritage Park is finished, if we're still in business, we'll start a new contribution plan.
We've got to justify it through a process, and that's what we're doing. We're getting the information together, but we can look at planning assessments.
The original precinct was 4 allotments. Now that's grown by another 2 allotments and pretty well increased the area by half again. And so that gives us the opportunity to change the contribution plan in there. And that's where we're seeking a voluntary planning agreement to get an increased payment, which will help us pay for some of the infrastructure that you mentioned before. But the first status was in the existing contributions area, which we haven't had the chance to modify at this stage.
A voluntary planning agreement also allow you to charge more than what is restricted by IPAR through Section 64 contributions. So that will allow us to look at that side, which will provide us a greater aspect of charging for the new infrastructure. That's what we're looking at doing in this location, as well as other ones while we develop a whole new Section 64 contribution plan.
Which is very important moving forward. Any other questions or comments? No? If not, I'll put it. All those in favour? All in favour to let it carry. 10.1.6, review of the environmental the REF, replacement of the Jindera War Memorial. The recommendation is on page 327. We'll have a mover and seconder.
Move that.
Thank you, Councillor Morton and Councillor Quinn. Any comments, questions? Yes, certainly.
I just think it's important to highlight that the REF does talk to an extensive engagement process with the community, which I think, whilst I'm very much in favour of the works going ahead, I do think we've got an obligation to put this to the community, and I appreciate the work that's gone into REF to make that.
Absolutely. Any other comments?
I should have actually thought of it back when we had our speaker at the start, but if say hypothetically you were a family member or a descendant of someone on that original one, would it mean then to go and view the original one you've got to pay entry fee to get into the museum to actually go and see it?
I think that they would probably be very generous, the museum people. It's a lot of the museum people are connected.
That's probably a good point. Councillor, didn't think about it. Could you maybe have that discussion? Speak to them later. Any other questions or comments? No, if not, I'll put it. All those in favour? All in favour, declare to carry. In governance, on 10.3.1. Oh, shivers, don't tell me that, Laurie, sorry. 10.3.1, the policy adoption for children's services. So the recommendation is on page 339.
I move that recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Linda. Thank you, Councillor Morton. Any questions, comments? No?
Very comprehensive.
Well covered everything. If not, I'll put the recommendation. All those in favour? All in favour, declare to carry. 10.3.2, interim quarterly budget review as at the 31st of December 2025. The recommendation is on page 373. Have a mover and seconder, please. Sorry, Councillor Liston and Councillor Hooper. Any questions or comments?
So it makes interesting reading, Madam Mayor, and over the next 2 or 3 months, I'll have quite a lot of questions about it. Figures are figures, and they can be shoveled this way and that way. And it depends on how you want to read the spreadsheet. So,
Thank you, Councillor Quinn. Any other comments?
I've got just a question to you, Madam Mayor. On page 364, the amount for waste management is 107,539. That looks like a large number. Can I just have an explanation why that's being carried?
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor. When we went into the new waste contract, there was some variables that we didn't know before we went into that contract. So the previous contract just gave a price for the lifted bins, and the new contract provides for a price of lifted bins, but it also has a processing charge for the organic material as well. And being a new contract, we had a bit of an estimate of where we would land with the organics charge. But essentially, we relied on, as it turns out. And so we're sitting in that waste contract, that amount out. And so that's what's happening there. So at the end of this financial year, probably have to take that from the waste reserve and then have to adjust our fees.
Any other questions, comments? If not, I'll put it. All those in favour? All in favour? You too. Okay. All in favour, declare to carry. 10.3.3, policy adoption for children's services on the recommendations on page 515.
Move that recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Linda. Seconder? Thank you, Councillor Lister. Any comments? Questions? If not, all those in favour? All in favour, declare to carry. 10.3.4, Audit Risk Improvement Committee report. The recommendation is on page 537.
Madam Mayor,
You'd like to move it, Councillor Quinn? Seconder? Councillor Linda? Any questions or comments?
and I'm making a bit of work with people, but anyway.
I would like to make a comment about it. While ARIC is an advisory committee to council, I note that its concerns about the decision relating to the Gindra netball building. And I guess the project, that we've already made the decision to do what we've done, and I understand they've got some reservations about that. But I don't believe it's an appropriate spend of $30,000 of ratepayers' money, up to $30,000, to fund something that's already been determined and known that we dropped the ball on and we made a mistake by not following a process or policy. We can't. I suppose, you know, we've adopted that policy moving forward, so it won't happen again. It will never happen again. The second thing I'd like to say, that council will consider the recommendation as part of the new general manager's performance review panel process, and we thank Eric for its input, because at the end of the day, we haven't determined a performance panel yet for the new general manager, and we haven't made those, we haven't talked about the KPIs. So, I note their concerns, but I think it's like the horse has already bolted with that particular situation, and I think it would be a waste of our money or ratepayers' money to spend $30,000 on something to do an investigation, and we already know the outcome. We already know that it was a bundle from the start. We already know that, that we don't want it to happen again. So that's just my comment. Sorry. Any other comments? Sorry.
I also make a comment. Madam Mayor, I do agree with you on that. Given that we have, our staff has worked very hard on the policies as was resolved at a council meeting and the amendment to those policies, I'm satisfied that that is sufficient for us to do. Can we just mark that as noted rather than accept their recommendation? Is that how that works?
We have to put the recommendations there, and we've got to move in second as we'd have.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, I was just wondering if the Corporate and Community Services Director might be able to speak to this to perhaps add some clarity.
Through you, Madam Mayor. Thanks, Councillor Linda. So yes, agreed with the Mayor and her comments and all the other comments that were made in this space. So the work that has been done, so we have addressed the initial request from ARIC in this, and we went, the previous General Manager, Colin, over there, and myself have received legal advice just to have some security and peace of mind that we hadn't breached any legislation in relation to the Local Government Act and that loan. So we felt like that was kind of the initial risk that ARIC were raising. And then as we move through the process, they have since kind of asked for more information about how to review the circumstances around the Ginger Netball Club. I'll be taking that information to ARIC in March. So, and Councillor Morton, you are right, we have done a lot of work in the grant space, and I know it doesn't come through here, but we have revised the asset management policy to strengthen modifications around our assets. We have a grant management policy coming up, I think, as the next report, and then I still have the External Grants Management Committee policy to go once we get the grant management through. So those three reviews of those policies, and then we've also got operational procedures now in place, should strengthen our position when it comes to grant management of those kind of third-party user groups and recreational committees. I think Councillor Hooper once spoke about we have got a $1.3 million asset now in our community, and essentially we haven't paid money towards that. That is a loan, and we have made our Section 712 contributions. So, the community has still benefited from the Ginger Netball Club, taking on a large project. And I think where it started and where it landed were two different things, and you put COVID in the middle of that, and the changes in the building industry, and there were some kind of circumstantial issues that contributed to that, the way that went and the time frame that it was done over. It was an exception, a very long period of time, and things changed in that time. So that will come up in the report to the ARIC as well as a contributing factor.
Through you, Madam Mayor, can I just ask a question as well? I note that the reports that were presented in the paper were the financials from the Ginger Club, and they were to December. Did they not submit them prior to making an application for that loan? It seems that from what I can see, the reports that have been submitted are subsequent to the application. Were we not required to ask for them or for those reports prior to us making a decision on that?
So through you, Madam Mayor, in response to that, Councillor Morton, I think the request for the loan came in October. Yes.
And the financials reflected until December.
Probably they probably updated them, Councillor Morton.
So there was an annual statement, and then there was a cash flow that went after that, and it was budgeted around their memberships, their sponsorships, their fundraising.
And it was a projection?
Yeah, it was a projection in 2026. Obviously, they're a netball club.
Yes.
So, so we did get their financials. They traded quite well the previous 2 years, so they had sufficient money. They contributed significant money themselves into the project, and now they're servicing a loan. which they've been able to service, and we believe they've got the cash flow to service the loan.
One more question.
Yes.
What happens if they go broke between now and the end of the term of the loan?
Yeah, so that would probably have to, so we've got the terms and conditions, and that obviously we try to work with them around whether or not we have to reduce the loan repayments. However, the same circumstance we would have been in if we guarantored the loan, except we would have had to answer to the bank. And I think that was, we are the owner of the asset, so liability at the end of the day will stop with us, and it was which option would you prefer? We work with the club or we work with the bank in that circumstance. So,
Through you, Madam Mayor, I'd like to make, I'm a little bit of a loss as to why this has been brought by, it's out of council God's hands, but I think that this report should be received and noted and then should be done. So I'd like to make that amendment, please.
I'll second that amendment.
Wait for a minute. Report should be received and noted. Moved by Councillor Hooper and seconded by Councillor Morton. All those in favour of that amendment? Councillor Shield, Councillor Quinn, everyone. Declare that carried. So that will now become the motion. Happy to move the motion again. Councillor Hooper and Councillor Morton. All those in favour? Declare to carry. Thank you for your patience with that one. 10.3.5 grant management policy. The recommendation is on page 579.
Move that recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Leon. Seconder. Thank you, Councillor Hooper. Any comments or questions? Councillor Morton.
On page 578, second last paragraph, there's a typo. There's a spelling mistake.
Here we go.
Here we go. The word sort is incorrectly spelled. And also, page 583, directors and general manager spell check line 3 is should be provided, not provide. It's past tense.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? No, put it. All those in favour? All in favour, declare to carry. 10.4.1, proposed closure and sale of unused sections of the road at Glen Ellen. Recommendation is on page 586. Councillor Morton, seconder. Thank you, Councillor Liston. Would you like me to wait a minute? Sorry, everyone's trying to find their pages. All good?
Could be explained a bit further through you, Madam Mayor, to the engineer? Why the closure of the bit of road?
Madam Mayor, the closure's been put there. It's a standard procedure that we're required to close the road so allow it to be sold, to allow it to be sold by the Crown to the adjoining landowners. And there's a legislative process we go through and we're required as the, I guess the road manager to do that. We don't get any of the cash or anything because it reverts back to Crown land, and the Crown obviously receives the funding in that regard. They pay a fee, whoever requests to close, to cover our costs, and it's a standard process that we do many times in that regard.
Ever going to be used with further subdivision or anything?
Not that location.
Any other questions? If not, I'll put it. All those in favour? All in favour, declare to carry. No items for closed council tonight. Parts B, C and D. Would someone like to move them in a block, please? Thank you, Councillor Hooper. Councillor O'Neill. Any questions or comments in those sections B, C and D? Yep.
One with the closure of interest form, is that just to let people know what it looks like, or is it?
Yes.
Why is that in there?
I think by law you have to actually put it in there.
Exhibition.
Yeah, I think by law you have to put it in there, don't you? Yeah, they go on the website anyway.
I mean, it hasn't got a name or any details, but it's
There is
just
a name.
Yeah, it has got a name.
been blocked out.
Up the top, it's got
Yeah, right.
like this computer. It's fiddly. I can't just find things.
No other comments of this.
Madam Mayor, are we watching the interest rates as they rise so that our investments can be rolled over?
It's 1, 2 and 2.
Would you like to comment?
Yes, through you, Madam Mayor. Yes, Councillor Quinn, we have been watching them, and I just got like a report today asking like what are the interest rates and how we're looking. So we're definitely been getting some better rates. So we will definitely just, if we can, see how the market goes. But obviously now the trajectory will be on the increase now for several consecutive periods. You listen to the economists. So we will certainly be, I think they're around 4.8% we're getting at the moment with our interest rates on our investments. So that's pretty good.
To stop picking up the debt in Northern Territory.
They've been a bane of our lives, hasn't it? 1.4%, isn't it? Wasn't it? Like seriously, that's been painful, hasn't it? I think one's gone, isn't it? And one's nearly gone, or nearing completion.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm just having a look at that page. Sorry, Councillor Quinn. They had, yeah, that's been a long process. There it is. So where are we? We've got one still there, Councillor Quinn, 2.5 million at 1.3%. Coming due on the 15th of the 6th. I can't wait. Every month we look at that, don't we, and say, anyway, that'll be fantastic to get rid of that one for sure.
Very true.
National anthem, but there's
Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
a question for corporate services. 650 on page 658. There's a mention of Office for Youth Gold Class for the summer break. That money's to be spent by the 31st of March. Was that, and it says that money was not used. Is that likely to be re-delegated, or is that going to be used in the future? It was for hot weather.
Yeah, so you're in the grants table.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they've gone in January to Gold Class. So we've taken a bus of children in to watch, I think it was SpongeBob. And they had a great time, and that was a really successful event, like that we're just kickstarting our youth with. And I think there's a little bit of dialogue in the library as well. So yeah, we're certainly getting out and about with our events and looking at how we can plan them across the next 12 months.
Any other questions? No. If not, I'll put parts B, C and D to the vote. All those in favour? All in favour, declare to carry. Nothing in closed council. Any matter of urgency?
Yes, Madam Mayor, we should do something in the business paper. I don't think all the annexes should be printed so that they have to be read.
You don't think they all should be printed?
Printed, well, yes, I've got a copy of them all, sort of thing. And yeah, I think they should be. In the past, the annexes were there, and if you want to connect to them, you could. I'm talking about something because I can't connect. I'm talking about stuff, but anyway. If I really want to know the background of any of these gender subdivisions, I get in my ute, try over, have a look, because I know the country.
Yeah.
I know the Shire, sort of. So that's just my line of thought, because I'm not criticising it, but round the table people are struggling to find out what page and all that sort of thing. Anyway.
I suppose that's why I go through it and work out where the recommendations are to try and guide people. It was a massive business paper, huge. It's a lot to get through.
Can I just say that the business paper is published? So if people want to follow along online, then that's more convenient for them to do so.
Oh, look, I don't think Councillor Quinn's saying don't publish it. I think that the idea is that we go back to how it was, and the fact that you have your agenda, your agenda, with all the recommendations right there at the front, and then put your annexures at the rear of your business paper. If you want to read the annexure, click on it at the in the actual business paper itself, and it'll take you to the annexure. I don't think there's any need to have 5,000 pages that don't flow. You're having trouble finding it when you're scrolling through to the meeting. I don't bring my computer because it's pointless. So I think it needs a rejig to the old format.
Whereas I didn't like the annexures at the back. Isn't that interesting?
But now that's on that
You know what I
platform,
mean?
yeah, you can click it and take it straight to it. I don't believe it doesn't need to flow down. It's just almost ridiculous, really, for a time factor.
Well, the annexures are where all the reading is.
Yes, but what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
in the interest of running a smooth meeting and being able to follow along quite simply, you have your business paper minus the annexures, and you have your annexures attached at the end of it. And when you click the link, it'll take you to that annexure when you're doing your reading, but you don't have that huge clunky
Yeah, I
amount of pages that you're fluffing around trying to find it.
Way through.
Perhaps we'll leave it up to the staff.
In the next workshop.
Yeah.
Look, I find using the thumbnails on the side,
That's what
it's quite easy.
Yeah.
Because it's to the front of the next business report paper. And so you can just,
Hang on. We're having one conversation.
so I don't know, I find with those thumbnails and that it's quite easy to navigate. I don't know if people are using them, perhaps we could workshop that.
Yeah.
Let's bring it up at a workshop, I reckon. Yeah.
Once you use the thumbnails,
The thumbnails are reasonably good. Maybe, I don't know whether it's possible to get like extended thumbnails and so that you can see the annexures and you can just scroll. Is it possible to do? We can ask documents on tap that. Yeah. Well, that's
what I've got.
Yeah. I don't know if that's the right.
So let's discuss that workshop.
We
Is that
better,
the right jargon? It is the right jargon.
better serve Councillor Quinn things an emergency then,
Oh,
or a fire procedure.
yeah. Does everyone agree that it's a matter of urgency? Sorry, Councillor Quinn.
Perhaps important, but not.
It is. Let's discuss it at a workshop.
Okay, doesn't phase me one bit, Madam Mayor, I can assure you.
There's nothing else. I'll close the meeting at 7:02. Thank you very much.